All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get ready for word study. I'm going to tell you where you're going for your station today. So, station for Write It is meeting at table 2. Is Edgar B., David, Eddie, Giovanelli, Adrian, and Kevin. Please go get your bin and set up. Define It is meeting at table 3. That is Natalie, Paulina, Michael R., Edgar M., and Michael M. Please go get your bin and set up at table 3. Find It is meeting at table 4. Angela, Vanessa, Jonathan, and Melvin. Please go get your bin and set up at table 4. Make sure that you have all your materials. You're following your directions on what you need to do. So get out your directions. You'll need your sort. Remember, at Find It, you're working to redo your sort. You need your construction paper. You'll need your glue and scissors. Remember how I showed you how to cut quickly. Make sure you're doing it quickly. Don't waste time. Define it. You can work together to find the definition. Remember how I showed you today how to find a word in a dictionary quickly. Make sure you're getting the words from your sort. Write it. Remember, you're writing sentences or a story with yours. So make sure you're getting the words from your sort. Sort it. You're meeting with me today. Please get a lined piece of paper. Put your name and date at the top. Make sure you always come with something to write with.
Where do we get the paper?
You're going to use the one that you already have. Okay, so here's this. You're going to cut out your source, remember? Okay. Scissors are in this. Name and date is at the top.
Okay.
The students have had 1 week to be working throughout the whole stations. They return, so they already know what day that they're testing on. They get multiple copies. 1 copy goes into their folder to work throughout the week. Another copy, they put their testing date on the top, and they put that into their homework folder. They know the second time they meet with me, they're going to take a test, spelling test of 5, randomly selected, and then they have to write a sentence with one of them. So they know it's going to be 5, but they don't know which 5.
And are these the same words that they take home that's on the original list?
Right. So
Okay.
they have the list they worked on for 1 week in class, plus they've had a week to study it at home. So they've received 2 copies. Ready, ladies? If you want to hide your answers so that no one else can see it, you want to fold your paper in half this way. That way, as you're writing, you can cover your work as you're writing your answer. Vanessa, you want to fold yours in half? Okay, there'll be 5, so you want to number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Number 1, dry. The ground was dry after the sun had dried it up after the rain. Dry. Dry. Number 2, grill. My dad made a yummy supper out on the grill. Grill. Number 3, white. White. The sheets were a bright white in the sun. White. Number 4, sigh. The boy took a deep sigh and relaxed. Sigh. And number 5, grim. Everything looked very terrible and grim. That anything good could happen. Grim. Okay, I want you to pick one of the words that you picked that you wrote today, and you're going to make your own sentence. So you select one word and write your own sentence. When you're finished, you're going to face it place down in the center of the table. Down in the center. Okay, now I want you to take all your work out of your folder, put your reflection paper on top. Reflection paper on top. This is where they would have collected up all their items throughout the week so that they would put them all together. Plus there's a reflection piece that they would put on top. All of that would be collected and then that would be added down to the pile.
And what does the reflection piece consist of?
The
Could you please
reflection
show us
piece-
that?
Yeah, so I can show you. The reflection piece has different questions for each day. So they would start their first set at sort it, that's meeting with me. Then they go to find it, define it, and write it. Each one has a reflection questions that they ask after they have completed. So I will notify them that it's almost in, about 5 minutes left or 3 to 5 minutes. Then I'll tell them it's time to answer your reflection questions. So that gives them a moment to think, what were they working on, did they accomplish it, and what was their goal while they were doing it. All right, thank you, ladies. We're going to start with our next sort. So what I'm going to give to you is your sort for this week. Okay, here's your sort for this week. Please put it into your folder. And here's your reflection for this week. Name and date on the top.
So once they're tested over the 5 words from the previous week, they stay with you the entire time and start the new sort.
The new sort. So
Okay.
there's a total of 15 to 20 minutes that everyone's working.
Okay.
So this is your copy for home. So make sure that you put on the front, on the top, Test Wednesday. So you're going to put on the top Test Wednesday. Do not put that into your folder. Put it on top of your folder. So reflection inside your folder. And your second copy has Test Wednesday and goes on top of your folder so that you're ready. I know you're ready when eyes are on me. And what I do is, these are the sorts already cut out, so now I can work with them to actually teach them the sort. So, girls, today we're going to be working with short A that says A as in cat. You can see that I've marked that. Let's say short A, A. Very good. Now we're also going to be looking at long A as in cake. Cake says A. Let's try that. A. So we have A for short A and A for long A. We might have some oddballs that don't make the right sound at all, so that's possible. So let's look at one together. Let's do this. Bat. Bat. Point to where you think it belongs. So let's segment that. Let's try together. Ba-at. Do it with me. Ba-at. You hear the A in there? Like cat. Excellent job. Now let's look at the next one. Make. Ache. Like cake. Awesome. Now I'm going to give you 2 and you're going to decide where they go. Go ahead and decide where they go. So let's check and see what you have decided. So we're looking at short A that says A as in cat. So k, at. Let's check the next one together. Bat, b-at. Does that sound like it matches? Okay, let's look at the next one. Ask, ask. Does that sound like cat? At. Does that sound like that matches? Listen for the a sound. We have k, at. Now we have ask. Sounds the same, right? So be careful, Vanessa. I think that you were confused because it didn't have a consonant at the beginning, right? It started with the a sound, that short a sound, didn't it? So that was a little tricky. It doesn't have to be in the middle. It just has to make the a sound, that short a sound. Let's check these. Ache, cake, ache. Sound the same, right? Aim, and. Did that hurt your ears? Sounded a little different, didn't it? So let's look at that one again. And. Sounds more like a short A. It's a little different though, isn't it? It just sounds a little off. Doesn't quite sound like that a sound. A can be tricky. Do you want to put it under the oddball or do you want to put it under short A? Oddball. It's going to be a tricky one, so we need to keep track of that. A can be tricky. It makes that sound just a little off. So I'm going to put it over here. I agree. So let's look at the next one. Again, we're looking for the long A sound. Have the A? Yep, that L puts it a little off, but it still has that long A sound. And what I would do after this point, I would have a much larger group, so they would have put together more words, and we would have gone over that. Many times the kids notice that there was an error made. I don't intervene. I let them figure out, and sometimes they'll talk to each other and want to change it. Usually once I see them want to switch it, I'll say, okay, let me pull it out, and we'll talk about it as a group. And then they'll start to realize their thinking and make the changes all on their own. So it takes a little direction, but then they get it. All right, let's go to our reflection sheet so we can look at that. All right, students, it's time for you to start to clean up and go to your reflection sheet. Make sure you're answering your questions. You have 2 questions each time. So check where you're at and go to your questions. All right, so our first question is, what is the rule we are sorting by this week? So you can see that we were sorted. What are you thinking, Vanessa? You're already thinking it. Go ahead. Right, short A's and long A's. And we already know that there's a quick place we can even look. Right on the side of our sort, it tells us short A and long A. So go ahead and add that. And then the second question says, what did you notice or what surprised you? How about hands? Did that surprise you? Yeah, I think that one's a tricky one. So maybe I noticed that hand sounds like it should be a short A, but it sounds just a little tricky. Doesn't quite sound as clear as the A in cat. So that surprised me. I see that Vanessa's making sure to write that down. Good job, Vanessa. Ladies and gentlemen, you should be just about finished up with your reflection. Make sure you clean up your area, put everything away. Purple folders need to be collected as maintenance directors and get ready for our writer's workshop. And that would conclude their session. They would clean up and be ready for the next day for the next rotation.